Next up, we have Roger Goun. He's a street photographer. Roger is from southern New Hampshire and describes himself as a recovering software engineer, political geek, street, event, and landscape photographer, and dork. Most of his work is from the New England seacoast, New Hampshire's White Mountains, and the American West. He gets my vote for the best presentation title, maybe ever. His presentation title tonight is Nobody Wants to Punch a Paraplegic and Other Secrets of Street Photography. Let's hear it for Roger.
I can actually see it. Thanks. So I think it's really important for photographers to have projects to focus your attention, to focus your work, to give you something to think about, not just be randomly photographing. I thought my project this year was going to be photographing all 64 covered bridges in New Hampshire. Yes, that's how many there are. But then I realized it was primary year. So for the last 7 months, I've been following presidential candidates around, trying to get pictures of the candidates interacting one-on-one with voters. And that project is going to be hanging at the Mill Space in Newmarket starting in January, and I hope you'll all come see it. What I want to show you now is older stuff, mostly street photography. I did it. This is a picture from Bike Week in Daytona Beach, taken by the photojournalist Craig Litton. And you can see me working there in the background. Working is kind of what I do. I go to places where people are doing interesting things, and I try to get interesting photographs of them. The title of this talk, Nobody Wants to Punch a Paraplegic, is facetious, but it's also true. I get away with stuff that most people can't get away with. Hanging out with these guys, making myself part of the scene, making myself invisible. If you think about it, your mother told you not to stare at me. She did. I take advantage of that. I've always got my camera with me. It lives under my chair in a pack here with 4 lenses. This picture, I was hanging around in Monument Square in Portland, and I saw these folks, and I knew there was a picture there, and I took a whole bunch of pictures. And one of the things that I want to tell you is, keep shooting until the scene is over. This was a photo from Bike Week. I saw the light was fading. I wanted to find a place where there was still some light. I saw where these bikes were being parked. The light was coming in underneath. So I went, and I waited for these ladies to arrive, take off their helmets, shake out their hair. And there they were. The secret there is follow the light. Always follow the light. This is Portland. This is a patch of sidewalk that I know really well. In the afternoon, it gets this incredible light. I went up one afternoon. Right on this patch of sidewalk, there are these 2 adorable girls selling lemonade. And their mom was cooperative. This was not a photo that I took surreptitiously, obviously. Back to Bike Week. It will not surprise you to hear there was alcohol involved in the making of this photograph. I present as really harmless. This, little do they know. But this is really useful. People will do things that they would not ordinarily do. And she saw me taking pictures of people, and she saw me swing the camera toward her, and she did that. And a few days later, this unknown woman friended me on Facebook, and I had no idea who she was, but I looked at some of her pictures, and I saw that same heart-shaped necklace. So the name of that photo is Heart-Shaped Necklace. This was a photo at a bar in Daytona. I saw this woman. I wanted to photograph her. I just waited. I wandered around. I got closer. Eventually, she did that, and I got the photo. Back in Portland, the moral of this story is look behind you, look around, look up. I heard music coming from speakers. I looked, and I saw this young woman setting up speakers, blasting music out into the environment. I aimed my camera up, and she did that for me. Also in Portland, this woman, Cece, was setting up to do some giant bubbles, and I knew that there was going to be a picture here. So I waited, and these kids showed up, and they liked the bubbles. And there's the picture. The moral is find a scene and shoot it. The other thing that happens is you don't find a scene, you just are wandering around minding your own business and something happens. This woman stepped off the curb with her son on a trike. I never even lifted the camera, I shot it from here. If you know how to shoot, if you know how to level your camera on site, you can get pictures that you can't get by taking the time to photograph, to set your camera. Another thing that makes great street photos is more than one thing happening at once. And I saw all these people, I saw the activity, I was hoping something interesting would happen, and something interesting happened. It turns into a photo. You have to be ready to take the photo. Your camera has to be set, the exposure has to be set, focus has to be set, and you have to be looking. I came around the corner, I saw the young woman photographing, fumbling for change for the meter. I thought there might be a photo, I had my exposure set. The second woman showed up, and there was the photo. I asked a Latin teacher friend what the feminine plural of Gemini is, and she said it was Gemini, maybe? So that's the title of that photo. I saw this woman come out of a shop for a smoke break, and I really wanted to photograph her, but she kept looking over here, and I was over there, but I got the rhythm of her breathing in, breathing out smoke, and finally she turned and she exhaled, and I got the photo. That's the camera. Camera porn is what we call that. It's like a monochrome. What you'll see from the top shot is it's incredibly simple. All it is shutter speed, aperture, and focus, and a shutter button. It's inconspicuous, it's black. You can see that I can set focus on the lens with the distance marking, so I can set focus without ever picking up the camera. Once I learn to estimate distances to the subject, I can set aperture. When I'm going from a light place to a dark place, I'm constantly adjusting exposure, so I don't have to worry about that when I want to take the photo. I just lift the camera and I take the picture. I was at a street festival in Portland, and these two people started dancing, and I knew there had to be a picture here. And when I saw the way she was looking at him and the way he was looking at her, I knew that there was going to be a photo. And I got 2 or 3 off, and this was the one that I really like. I was at the Deerfield Fair in Deerfield, obviously, and this is one of the photos that illustrates the point that photos should be about stories. I don't know about you, but when I am talking to people, meeting people, I make up stories about them. And the story I made up about him was that photo. This was also Portland. I saw her eating popcorn. I saw what was behind her. I knew there was a photo here. There were all people going by, back and forth. I got out of their way. I let them be a screen for me, and they just happened to part just as she was eating, and I got that photo. Again, there's a story. There's got to be a story here, but I don't know what it is. I made it up. Maybe they're a couple. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're just friends. Maybe that's just his kid. Maybe I don't know. But I like the photo. The sunlight is really hard, but it worked out. So just to summarize, be patient. Be part of the scene. Try to hide. Shoot until it's over. Follow the light. That's really important. Slow down and look around. Look up. Shoot from the hip if you can, or from the waist or whatever. Try to get more than one thing happening. Above all, tell stories. And most of all, look harmless. Thanks.